All right, good morning, everybody. Could everyone take their seats, please, so we can begin? And it looks like we have a lot of people who are willing to, here to celebrate several proclamations. Good morning, John. So it is right now 9:46, and I'd like to call the Kane County Board to order. It is Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. Clerk, could you call the roll?
Gallen,
Allen present. Arroyo.
We're here.
Bates,
Bates here.
Ehrman, Birdie,
Already here.
Garcia,
Garcia here.
Ripe,
Right here.
Gums,
Gums here.
Iqbal,
Iqbal present.
Juby,
Juby here.
Caius,
Present.
Leonard,
Leonard here.
Lewis, Linder,
Linder here.
Molina,
Molina present.
Hennessis,
Hennis is here.
Roth,
Roth here.
Sanchez,
Sanchez present.
Strathman,
Present.
Surgis,
Present.
Tarver,
Tarver's here.
Tepe,
Happy here.
Williams, Young.
Here.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
And I believe the only board member who wishes to be present online is Mr. Doherty. May I have your permission to bring him in?
No objection.
Objection, very good, thank you. All righty, Pledge of Allegiance, I think that's Mr. Surgis.
Madam Chair, we have a pledge and an invocation going this morning, and I'd like to introduce the invocation if we can, and then we'll roll one to the other, or would
Let's
you
do
like-
the pledge
Let's
first,
do the
please.
pledge first, perfect. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It is my pleasure this morning to introduce Pastor Bill Yonker from Emmanuel Lutheran Church in East Dundee. It's kind of a unique situation for me because 2 years ago I was asked to do this, and we had Pastor Glombicki come from Emmanuel. And in East Dundee, West Dundee as well, we have a unique situation that we have two Missouri Synod Lutheran churches on either side of the river. And while Pastor Glombicki was here last time representing Emmanuel as one of our leaders, Pastor Glombicki has gone on to take over at Bethlehem Lutheran on West Dundee as their main pastor. And so today we have Pastor Bill Yonker coming from Emmanuel East Dundee. Emmanuel is the oldest, largest church in the Dundees, dating all the way back to 1862. And for those of you keeping score with the Surgis family, our final child, Talia, is getting married on May 3rd. Pastor Yonker is conducting that celebration. Pastor has been there for the christenings, births, everything in my entire family, and it is an absolute privilege and joy to have him here this morning. And he is my personal friend, my spiritual leader, and I am honored to be here with him. So.
Oh, very good. What a beautiful introduction. Welcome, Pastor.
Thank you. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I know there may be different faith traditions or even different faiths. I follow Jesus, and so I will be invoking him this morning and ask that you would bow your heads as I do that. Let's pray. Lord Jesus Christ, remember us as your beloved ones. Remember not our faults or our failures. Remove from us the past things that have held us back. And for this board, as they go forward, I pray, Lord, that you would ratify their decisions, that you would help them realize that they are touching the hearts and lives of families, of many people. Revitalize all their efforts to make our communities safe, secure, better, healthy, happy, and whole. Lord Jesus Christ, by your power, through your incredible love, we ask all of this in your name, you who live and reign with the Father and the Holy Spirit, one God, now and forever. Amen. Blessings on your work.
I am so appreciative of our pastors and faith leaders who come all over Kane County to do such a brief presentation of such meaning to all of us early on a Tuesday morning and giving a part of that day. We are very grateful. Thank you. So now let's move on to always a pause. It's hard to get into a spiritual sense of mind and then quick transition into business. Always takes a few moments for that transition for me. So may I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of March 11th, 2025?
Madam Chair, this is Caius. I would ask for unanimous consent for the approval of minutes for March 11th, 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Caius, as always. Do I have your approval with that? Yes? Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, now we go on to the fun part of our meeting, where we get to celebrate our community. We have several proclamations today that we'll be going through. And we will also, as we move forward into our public comment, there'll be additional proclamations that'll be added as well. So, but before we get on to the heavy lift of the county, let's relax and let's welcome our proclamations so we can say thank you again to all our volunteers and community members who give to our communities and to Kane County. So the first one will be led by Leslie Juby.
Thank you. I have a 2025 proclamation in support of agriculture in Kane County. Whereas agriculture has long been a cornerstone of Kane County's economy, culture, rural heritage, providing jobs, tax revenue, and essential food resources for both local and global communities. And whereas Kane County was Illinois' first county to protect farms by ordinance from nuisance lawsuits in 1991, to develop stormwater ordinance in 2000, to preserve farmland productivity, to establish and fund an agriculture conservation easement and farmland protection ordinance in 2001, to assist farmers in maintaining productive soils through a farmland drainage assistance program in 2003, and to encourage and prioritize the production of fruits, vegetables, meats, and dairy through the Growing for Kane ordinance in 2013. And whereas these efforts have safeguarded over 40 farms and 6,000 acres from development, revitalized drainage districts critical to farmland productivity, and supported new farmers in entering agricultural production. And whereas Kane County's long-standing land use and planning policies aim to sustain agricultural productivity, prevent premature and scattered development on farmland, and preserve the rural character of Western Kane County. And whereas Illinois is home to more than 71,000 farms, with 96% being family-owned, and Kane County accounts for 605 of those farms, supporting 1,008 family farmers, over 14,000 agriculture-related jobs, including 7,181 in the livestock sector. And whereas agriculture and related industries in Kane County generate an estimated $1.45 billion in total sales, with $643.5 million from the livestock sector, contributing $402.9 million to household income. And whereas nearly half of Kane County's land is dedicated to agriculture, with the county leading Illinois in nursery, greenhouse, floriculture, and sod production, and ranking among the state's top 5 counties for Christmas trees, woody crops, other crops, and hay. And whereas Kane County farmers play a critical role in ensuring food security, a fact underscored by the COVID-19 pandemic, which highlighted the importance of resilient American food systems, processing, and supply chains. And whereas new livestock development fosters additional job creation and economic growth within Kane County. And whereas farmers are committed to responsible environmental stewardship, utilizing advanced tools and technology to manage soil nutrients, water runoff, and air quality, thereby reducing their carbon footprint and conserving natural resources while increasing food production. And whereas farmland is a finite and irreplaceable resource vital to agriculture, food production, and the economic well-being of Kane County. And whereas farmers in Illinois and Kane County operate within a robust regulatory framework that includes oversight from state and federal agencies, ensuring comprehensive environmental and safety standards. And whereas Kane County recognizes the immense value of agriculture, supports policies and economic initiatives that sustain the rural way of life, and is committed to fostering future success for the agriculture community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Kane County Board does hereby proclaim its full support for agriculture in Kane County, recognizing the industry's vital contributions to the economy, environment, and quality of life for all residents.
Very
That was a long one.
nice. Leslie, who is here?
All right, so I think Mark is here, Bill is here, who else is? Oh, I'm so sorry, Steve is here. Anybody else here? Just you guys? Mark's up here. All right.
Probably like this one.
The Farm Bureau.
Mhm.
head, right? No, it's maybe- it's a farm, I think he may be chairman.
I don't see that. Thank you.
I haven't been to them.
That's where you put in your read.
I have to say honestly, I didn't know about the Christmas trees. That we're number 5 in Illinois. That's amazing. Good. It's fun. Okay, so the next one is Earth Day, and that is,
Point of order, did we
Yeah.
have a,
a second? Yes.
did anyone?
Oh, we,
Make a motion.
thank you. Thank you, David, I appreciate that. Second, please. Thank you. All right.
Thank you,
Voice
Dave.
vote, all in, no, we have to take it by roll.
Which one's this for? Call.
Okay.
That's right.
Allen,
Ellen, I.
Arroyo, Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman. Here, all right. Doherty,
Yes.
Garcia,
Garcia here. I'm sorry, yes.
thank you.
Right.
Yes.
Gums,
Comes, yes.
Iqbal,
Oh, yes.
Juby,
UBI.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Hennessis,
Hennessis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Burgess, yes.
Tarver,
Carver, yes.
Tepe,
Debbie, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
That passes.
Okay, very good.
Thumbs
All right.
out.
So the next one is proclaiming April 22nd as Earth Day in Kane County. And Ms. Bates.
Good morning. I would like to ask just some of our staff from the Energy and Environmental Department to come up and join me in reading this, and I'd like them to introduce themselves, please.
Jody Walnick, Director of Environmental and Water Resources for Kane County.
Courtney Meyer, the Communications Administrator for the Environmental and Water Resources of Kane County.
Rob Linky, Senior Water Resource Engineer.
Thank you. Proclaiming April 22nd, 2025 as Earth Day in Kane County. Whereas the theme for Earth Day 2025 is Our Power, Our Planet, calling for global unity in support of renewable energy and a commitment to tripling the generation of clean electricity by 2030. And whereas in 2019, Kane County Animal Control became the first county building to utilize solar energy and the county continues to lead sustainability efforts with the 2023 opening of a 2-megawatt solar field at the Kane County Judicial Center, which will save taxpayers over $5 million over the next 25 years. And whereas in May 2012, the Kane County Board adopted the Kane County 2040 Plan, which includes policies promoting renewable energy generation, innovation, and education on climate vulnerabilities and mitigation strategies. And whereas Kane County has developed a climate action implementation plan with strategies and actions to achieve climate goals. And whereas Kane County has contributed to reducing waste by recycling 5 million pounds of electronics in the past 5 years. And whereas Kane County Environmental and Water Resources continues to work with experts, officials, and community leaders to address the growing demand for sustainable water supplies for both humans and ecosystem needs. And whereas Kane County takes steps to protect our precious Fox River, including efforts by the Conservation Foundation to promote native plants and stormwater management, the Fox River Education and Outreach Initiative to raise awareness, and the Fabulous Fox National Water Trail, which offers opportunities for paddling, fishing, and recreation. And whereas the Kane County Forest Preserve District manages over 23,000 acres of open space, including woodlands, wetlands, and prairies, further supporting environmental protection efforts. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Kane County Board recognizes April as Earth Month and April 22nd, 25 as Earth Day in Kane County to serve as an annual encouragement for residents, businesses, and organizations to join in efforts to protect and preserve the planet for future generations.
Thank you.
And I'm going to ask Jody Wolnick to accept this for our team and department.
Mavis says you're getting your chair before we ask for the motion to accept. How many years has Earth Day been around? Since the 70s, right? About 50 years, yes. Wow. Was it 1970? Righty. So with that, for those of us who were born before 1970, would you like to, I need a motion in a second.
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve the Earth Day resolution.
Thank you,
I'll
Ms.
second.
Allen. Is there a second, please? Yes, Mr. Linder. Oh, Strathman. We all second. Everyone seconds. Mr. Young.
Discussion, please.
Yes, absolutely.
So I did some investigation on Earth Day,
Mhm.
and the first Earth Day was April 22nd, 1970.
Very good.
And it was Senator Gaylord Nelson out of Wisconsin created this. And his intention was to really draw, or his purpose was to draw attention to the air and water pollution that was going on at the time. And so he did that, and he was and I got this off of Wikipedia and a couple of other sources, but what he wanted to do was to harness the energy of the anti-war movement going on. And that at that time it was the war against Vietnam, the Vietnam War. So he went ahead and harnessed that, and there was like 20 million people that showed up for this first event in the United States. It started here in the United States. So, and shortly after that, the EPA was created after those protests occurred. Now, who was Gaylord Nelson? I looked him up, and in his Wikipedia file, he stated, the bigger the population gets, the more serious the problems become. So he was against immigration. He was against population growth. He was pretty much a depopulation kind of a guy. The other thing he mentioned, and this is in Wikipedia, is he says, the economy is a wholly owned subsidiary of the environment, not the other way around. So he was all about environment only and not the economy growing. So that's what he was about. The other thing he was about, his religion was, he was a Unitarian, and Unitarianism is it's someone who rejects pretty much Christianity. They reject the Trinity. They reject the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So and even deeper than that, they can go into a more of a humanism religion, which is basically, it's all about, that's atheism, essentially. So there is a sect of Unitarianism that's atheism. So when you look at this Earth Day, some people would say that you are, not you, but this is a worship of the earth. It's a worship of the creation and not the creator itself. So as you go through this and you think about this this proclamation and why it was created and who created it, go ahead and think about that. And that's and well, other thing is, one more thing is that this movement was to initially bring to light that there was air pollution and water pollution. I mean, you lived in California, you saw it, right? And so it was very positive that this came about, but it seems to have changed a lot, because today we're promoting this Green New Deal. We're promoting this climate action plan in Kane County that only 0.2% of the people really approve. So this has kind of been, I think, stolen by an agenda. So I will be voting against this, and thank you.
Alrighty. Yes, ma'am.
Alan speaking. I just wanted to thank you for the history and the proclamation, but we have real life consequences that happen here. And one of the things that we have become fortunately
Ms. Allen,
famous.
could you speak just slightly closer to your microphone?
Sure.
Yeah, much better. Thank you.
I think I need to go borrow a different mic or something. One of the things that we have going on here is that we have a community of 500,000 people in our county, and frequently when they run into problems with their wells, their septics, their subdivisions, where are the rules? Where's our protection? They turn to our Environmental Resources Department. And at least two of the people who were standing here are people with licenses on the wall. So we make those resources available to our citizens to solve those problems. And I just think that's a credit to our mission here.
Very good. Anybody else? So with that, we have a motion, a second. Could you call the roll?
Ellen,
Alan, I.
Arroyo, Bates,
Bates, yes.
Doherty,
No.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Ripe,
Right, no.
Gums,
Comes, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Juby,
Yeah.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Penesis,
Genesis, yes.
Roth,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman, Sturgis, Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Tepe,
Seppi, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young.
No.
Still passes 3 nays.
We have 3 names. Young Doherty and, right. Yes. Okay.
Ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, our next, well, that's a resolution. And we have the resolution, and let's do our final proclamation, Ms. Gums, and then we'll come back to you if we can do it with the National Volunteer Appreciation Month.
I believe, Ms. Guthrie, would you like to read it? I was taken by surprise, but I will meet you at the podium.
Well, hold on a second. This is Mr. Isaacson is going to be reading this because we have a proclamation. So I'm just going to do our proclamations first for our volunteers. So that they can get on with their day. So I believe, Mr. Isaacson, this is for you.
Did you skip this?
We're going to come right back to it.
We're going out of
Slightly
order.
out of order.
So which one we're doing E.
I have a plaque here.
Take your mask off. Come on.
Good morning, everyone. Michael Isaacson, Kane County Health Department. And I'm joined by some of our staff who work in emergency planning, as
Michael,
well
could you
as
bring that up to you?
as well as some of the fantastic volunteers that we have. So this is really exciting. It's also National Public Health Week, but we spared you one more proclamation. So proclamation recognizing April as Medical Reserve Corps National Volunteer Appreciation Month. Whereas National Volunteer Appreciation Month in the United States takes place in the month of April. This month is dedicated to honoring excuse me, all of the volunteers in our community, as well as encouraging the selfless service of volunteerism. And whereas by this service, volunteers do not ask for payment, recognition, or compensation for this dutiful work, but are highly deserving of our appreciation, recognition, and respect. And whereas the Kane County Medical Reserve Corps volunteers continue to serve well beyond the COVID-19 pandemic, and whereas these volunteers have given thousands of hours of service in support of opioid reduction, vaccine clinics, public education, to provide Stop the Bleed training, CPR training to the community, first responders, and county staff. And whereas this service directly contributes to the betterment and preparedness of the community and reduces the operational costs to the health department and its staff. And whereas the monetary value of this work is valued at over $18,000 just in fiscal year 2024, which enables the health department staff to turn their attention to other essential tasks being carried out by the department. Now, therefore, let it be proclaimed that the Kane County Board recognizes April as Medical Reserve Corps National Volunteer Appreciation Month and thanks those volunteers who share their expertise, skills, and time. And if it's okay, I'd like to introduce one of our directors to say a couple words. This is Director Liz Allman, who is our Director of Planning and Information Management.
Thank you, Michael. Hi, everyone. I'm Liz, for people who haven't met me. So under the Division of Planning Information Management is Public Health Emergency Preparedness. So this is the section of our health department that really maintains and engages our Medical Reserve Corps, or MRC. The MRC was established in 2005. It's a group of medical and non-medical volunteers that help support Kane County during both public health emergencies and just ongoing operations. So not only were the MRC pivotal in our response to COVID-19, but they continue to help support our initiatives just in our everyday work. These Kane County residents volunteer their personal time to train with us, drill with us, and respond with us. So we want to take this time to formally recognize and thank all of our volunteers who continue to support and ensure the health and safety of their neighbors across the county. So we're joined here today. We have our two Kane County employees, Kyle Griffin and Adizai. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm butchering it. Adizai Guzman, as well as several MRC members that are with us today. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. All right, so, no, we're going to do the resolution, National Volunteer, Scott and Michelle. No, we did not. We did, E. We did E.
Madam Chair. We need a motion.
So, hold on a second, we're just getting everybody organized here. So this one, we're doing resolution 25-113, and we'll turn this over to Michelle.
Don't we have to
No,
do
we
that?
didn't vote on the last.
The vote on the last one
Vote. Thank you again.
and
For the
motion
vote.
and second.
Who wants to,
Gripe will move. for
thank you,
acceptance.
Mr. Gripe, second, please.
Carver, second.
Thank you, of course, Mr. Tarver. Good job. Okay. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Ellen,
Ellen, aye.
Arroyo, Bates,
Bates, yes.
Gordy,
Hey now.
Garcia,
Garcia, aye.
Gripe,
Gripe, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Juby,
Aye.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis, Linder,
Yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Genesis,
Genesis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Surgis,
Yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
That passes 1 nay.
1 nay. Okay, very good. Okay, so we're going to do it again. This is a resolution now, not a proclamation, and it's item number 25-113. And Michelle?
No, actually, it's going to be Michelle Guthrie who will be reading with Myrna Molina at her side and some of her staff behind her at this point, but Michelle's more than welcome to come up here too.
This is National Public Safety.
Thank you. Good morning. I have with us from our team today, Sarah Stofa, our Deputy Director, and Chris McNeem, our Operations Manager, our very essential telecommunicators who we are celebrating today, obviously are working in the 911 center. And I invite all of our board members to come by, visit the center, say hi. But thank you for this resolution today. Whereas over 1/2 million dedicated men and women are engaged in the operation of emergency response system for federal, state, and local government entities throughout the United States. And whereas the Kane County Emergency Communications Center that received these calls has emerged as the first point of contact for persons seeking emergency assistance and expected to multitask under emergency conditions with compassion, accuracy, and professionalism throughout the year. Whereas this week, celebrated annually, honors the thousands of men and women who respond to these emergency calls, dispatch emergency professionals and equipment, and render life-saving assistance to the citizens, residents, and visitors of Kane County. And whereas County Board Chairman Corinne M. Pirog is authorized and requested to issue a proclamation calling on the people of Kane County to observe this week with appropriate ceremonies and activities. Now therefore let it be resolved that the Kane County Board Chairman may and hereby will declare the week beginning April 13th, 2025 through April 19th, 2025, National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week, and congratulate the dedicated and hardworking members of KaneCom for their ongoing service rendered to the community.
Feeling.
I do not know. It is a proclamation. Yeah.
It's a resolution.
Reading the proclamation.
I'm glad we vote on stuff we don't know what it is. Have to vote outside the building.
It's like swimming.
Oh.
Chair Gums.
Absolutely, please. Oh, well, let's get the motion. In the second
Molina
first
will move
before
the
discussion.
motion.
Thank you. In a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. All right. Now, discussion, Ms. Combs.
Thank you. I just want to thank our first responders as somebody who spent my 20 years there. They are first responders. I will advocate for that until I'm dead. I appreciate you all. I see you. I appreciate the 16-hour shifts. I know everybody here does too, but I also understand your mental health like nobody probably does. So I love you. I thank you and keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else who'd like to make a comment?
Madam Chair,
Yes,
may I ask a question?
of course.
I don't understand why this is a resolution and not a proclamation.
Because it was not brought, it could have been brought forward as a proclamation, but apparently that was not brought forward as such. That's what I was informed. So that's the reason why, but it certainly, could have been a proclamation without hesitancy. Mhm. So, Michelle is done and her team have done extraordinary work. They are behind the scenes in facilitating quick answers to the challenging problems that are faced by many of our residents, whether it be car accidents, domestic abuse, fires, illness, or perhaps worse. They are there trained, ready to assist the person who's on the other line with courtesy and firmness and guidance on how to react in a time of crisis, because you don't call 911 when you're just wishing somebody to have a nice day. So the work that they do puts a lot of strain on them, a lot of emotional stress. And I hope also a sense of real accomplishment and joy for what you do to support all of us. So thank you.
Get up here.
So we cannot extend to you our deepest appreciation for the work that you do and your team and how the team and you have guided us and helped us through so many issues. And I'm sure that those issues are not going to stop. I wish they would, but they will continue. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. All righty. Okay, so we have one more. Let me see.
Shall we vote on this one?
Got to vote on. Let's vote on that one.
All right. Ellen,
Alan, aye.
Arroyo,
Yes.
Bates,
Great, yes.
Doherty.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
Thank you. Garcia,
Yes.
Gripe,
Yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Chuby,
To be I.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Linder,
Linda, yes.
Melina, Penesis,
Genesis, yes.
Roth,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman, Surgis,
Yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Tepe,
Debbie, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
That passes.
All righty. So now here is the next part of the team that's coming up as another resolution. And who's going to be presenting that? Scott. All right. And Myrna, you're going to be the board member. Very good.
So thank you for this morning. Real quick, Blair, can you throw that photo up there? So normally we have our volunteers and staff here this morning, but it's daytime. Most of the volunteers work. I wanted to show you, kind of most of the group. Last Wednesday night at our monthly meeting, we had a dinner and we handed out our awards for fiscal year 24. We had over 13,000 hours volunteered. And 35 of them received the Presidential Service Awards based on their number of hours. So 5 people volunteered over 500 hours last fiscal year. So I just wanted to highlight that as we read this resolution. So we're currently 54 volunteers, and tomorrow we have 18 new volunteers starting their training. So we'll be up around 70 if all of them make it through.
Very nice.
whereas National Volunteer Appreciation Month in the United States takes place in the month of April. This month is dedicated to honoring all of the volunteers in our community, as well as encouraging volunteerism. And whereas volunteers do not ask for recognition or to be paid for all their selfless work, but they definitely deserve our respect and appreciation. And whereas in fiscal year 2024, the Kane County Office of Emergency Management volunteers provided 13,422 hours of service to the county and its citizens, responding to emergency callouts, pre-planned events and details, providing traffic control, manpower, search and rescue response, and public education. And whereas it is difficult to place a dollar value on the work volunteers do, the donation time is valued at $453,127 and enables officers, fire personnel, and first responders to return to actively responding to protect the citizens. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Kane County Board recognize April as National Volunteer Appreciation Month and praise those volunteers that have selflessly shown up and shared their time, talent, knowledge, and skills in service of others.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, may I have a motion and a second?
Roth will make the motion.
Gripe second.
Mr. Gripe, was that you? Great. Very good. Is there any discussion on this item?
Madam Chair Gums?
Yes, Michelle, absolutely.
I again just want to thank all of our volunteers and highlight that our Office of Emergency Management are often the ones that we don't see, we don't hear much about. But, you know, when we have a tragic fire or we have a shooting and there's lights that need to be set up and officers that need to go to other calls, they're the ones that are holding down the fort there so that those first responders can do their jobs. And they do it and they're not affected. So I also appreciate your mental health as well, because I know those things are challenging as well. So thank you very much.
Anybody else? Yes, Mr. Gripe.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Recently, I had the ability or the privilege to attend do a ride along with Forest Preserve Police Officer. And it just rang in my memory what he said about OEM, that it was the diamond in the services that Kane County provides and what an incredible resource it is. So from a department that is kind of not connected to the county generally, values what you folks all do very much. Just thought I'd pass that on. Thank you.
Anybody else? Well, before we go for not just the action, but the weather awareness that is being presented to us, notifying us if there's a huge storm, hailstorm, tornado coming. Never forget the time, Madam Chair, a tornado is just entered Kane County. Madam Chair, it's about 15 minutes away. Madam Chair, you better get everybody out of this building because a tornado's apparent. Those kinds of notices and warnings are so helpful for our communities to give us time to be able to prepare for what may be an imminent hit, because saving lives is critical. And making sure that we're prepared for potential damage. So they put themselves in harm's way to save us, to protect us. So thank you very, very much.
Gums here, I just have to add one little tiny thing that most people don't realize. It's fitting that the telecom first responders and Office of Emergency Management are here together because they work together. You know, that 10 o'clock frickin' lovely good morning buzz. They all work together and coordinate during those horrible storms and all the other horrible things that happen. So, recognize that. They're always under notice, but man, you should watch it work. It's amazing.
Agreed, agreed. So, yes, volunteers, make Kane County truly a great place to live. So with that, let's take the vote.
Ellen,
Ellen, I.
Arroyo, Bates,
Bates, yes.
Doherty,
Right now.
Garcia, yes.
Gripe,
Right, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Juby,
Yeah.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Linder,
Yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Hennessis,
Hennessis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surgis,
Yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Seppi,
Debbie, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
passes.
All right. Again, thank you to all of our volunteers. And I'd like to now make a somber transition to recent election we had, as well as some recent financial policies. But before I leave the joy and we get into some of our public comment, which will bring back to the good work that Kane County does, I would like to just take a moment in a very nonpartisan manner to thank all of our volunteers who went out and advocated for their opinion on the sales tax levy. I know personally that there were people who gave their time and their treasure and their talent to be able to advocate what they feel was best for Kane County. So whether or not it was a vote yes or vote no, our community members gave what they feel is their voice in making this decision. So I hope going further that there's no negative comment about any of us saying, oh, you did this and you did that, or they did that and they did this, or no criticism for volunteers who designed signs or for people who put up signs or stickers on cars. These were community members expressing their democratic voice, and for that we have to honor, because we gave them that opportunity to vote on this. So with that, I'd like to go over to what that financial impact of that decision, and just as a very brief overview of what the impact, the decisions that are being made in Washington may have upon the Kane County Board as you begin your thoughtful decision-making on our finances. So there's going to be interconnected factors. Let me put on my readers if I may, and this won't be long, I promise. There's been a recent imposition of tariffs upon the United States, and we knew it was coming. That's one of the platforms that our president had, so it comes as no surprise to us. And the recent failure of the sales tax referendum will significantly influence Kane County's budget through the interconnected factors involving local industries, consumer prices, economic growth, revenue resources, and federal funding. So I'm going to list how it may impact us. Kane County's local industries will be affected. Manufacturing. Tariff on imports such as steel and aluminum may increase production costs for local manufacturers, potentially reducing profit margins and impacting employment levels. Agriculture. As retaliatory tariffs are imposed, local farmers may be faced with reduced market access to lower prices for their products, diminishing their income and spending power, and having a cascading effect upon agriculture's ability to export its products. Retail and entertainment industries. Higher tariffs will result in rising prices for imported goods, resulting in increased cost for consumers. This increase impacts disposable income, leading to decreased spending in the local economy and adversarially affecting local sales tax revenues. Our financial growth, economic development, trade uncertainty associated with tariffs may deter business investments, which can slow local economic growth and potentially lead to job losses. Sales tax. The failure of the recent sales tax referendum intended to help fund public safety, coupled with declining consumer spending from tariff impacts, could reduce sale tax collections, an essential revenue source for our county, further straining the county's finances, especially for crucial services. Property tax. An economic decline could also lead to a decrease in property values and tax revenues, as witnessed during the Great Recession of 2008. This could negatively have a direct impact on funding for public services in Kane County. Increased budget pressures. Reductions in federal grant funds. Several vital federal grants are currently stalled, including the cancellation of the FY25 Community Project Funding Grant for the Kane County Forensics Laboratory in the amount of $85,422. In the Emergency Performance Grant from FEMA, a reduction of $392,952 from the U.S. Department of Transportation Charging and Fueling Infrastructure Grant. $200,000 in congressionally directed spending for radio replacements for KDOT's trucks. These reductions add to the budget constraints the county is being faced with. Long-term considerations, the combined economic effects of tariffs and the failure of the sales tax referendum are significant budget challenges for Kane County. Increased costs for manufacturers and consumers, potential declines in local business revenues, shifts in employment patterns, and reduced federal support will strain the county's financial stability. Conclusion. Last year, we had a budget of $139 million. We brought in revenue about $115 million. The rest of it was backflowed by funds that are now depleted. So going forward, we have to be realistic and proactive in our planning, along with strategic budget adjustments, including, unfortunately, potential reductions in workforce and programs that will be essential for maintaining our essential services and a sustainable budget. We will be challenged to support the needs of our residents during these uncertain times. While we can look for efficiencies for service delivery, Kane County is by nature a service organization. In the not-for-profit world, the adage is always, we'll have to do more with less. But in reality, this board and our residents will have to come to grips that the county will do, as it always has, its best, but this time with just a lot less. So thank you for giving me that time.
Madam Chair, the tariffs themselves, it's to be determined how that's going to affect the United States. And the thought process is that the United States have been taken advantage of both by China, and the European Union. We can't even sell our cars over in the European Union or China. So it's to be determined what's going to happen and what could happen, and what the intent is of these tariffs to be determined is that the investment in the United States is going to increase significantly. They're going to build the cars here. They're going to build electronics here, and that is happening. So that is your opinion, and I appreciate you reading that. It's fairly doom and gloom. We'll see what happens. But I wanted to have a second opinion on that, or at least an opposing opinion on that, because it's to be determined or whether or not these tariffs are going to be effective into doing what they should be doing, which is to make an even playing field between the United States and everybody else. And the other thing is that it's corporate America. It's corporate world that decides that we're going to go to China and we're going to build this thing for $1 instead of building it here for $5, because our profit will be so much bigger. So what the tariffs are also trying to do is they're trying to level that playing field off as well.
I completely understand what the tariffs are about. It has been documented, and Ms. Combs, I will recognize you in a second, that it'll take a minimum of 5 to 10 years for these manufacturing facilities to get up and going. Also, currently, I just heard on coming here, and we can argue back and forth
Sure.
because I think this is a rhetorical comment. We know that we're being impacted here in Kane County, just our budget right now. There's no question about that, which is what I'm addressing. Short term, long-term gain, gosh, I hope so. I hope so. We need to have that happen. I'm not completely tracking with you.
Yeah.
But right now, because of the tariffs that are happening on lumber in, for Canada, a new house will cost a consumer $10,000 more.
I mean, and they're also looking at, what's going to happen. Some of these countries, it's going to be zero. Zero to the United States, zero to Taiwan. Taiwan, that's what they're thinking about doing now.
So I'm knocking on wood right now. Ms. Gums.
Madam Chair Gums, I'm not sure how we got into this conversation, but I can't ever shut up. So I hope you're right. To my colleague, David, I hope it works out in the long run, but in the short term, we have people that we're getting ready to retire next month. We have people that are going to be losing their jobs next month. People that are going to lose their businesses next month. And in 10 months, I hope you're right. But in the meantime, if you're planning to retire, you're not planning to retire today. And if you just retired, you might think, oh, I hope I can get my job back. So there are two sides to this story. And I do not disagree with you, sir. And I hope it is correct in the end, but some people will lose their absolute livelihood in the short term.
All right, so we have a number of speakers right now, and I'd like to move now. That concludes my comments. So let me get my list. So is Mark Adaman online? Mark, I see you. You have 3 minutes, sir.
Okay. I initially wanted to talk about trying to get on the board because I see a lot of things happening here that are impactful to like everybody here. Now, I don't know how we got talking about tariffs, but they're going to be cataclysmic for this county for sure, because it's well known that tariffs are they're not going to be felt in 10 months, 5 years, whatever. It's even referenced in a cult classic for the Chicagoland area. It's called Ferris Bueller. They talk about Holly Smooth. You should look into it. It doesn't work. These tariffs will be hard on everybody, including our farmers. Now, we had talked about the 600 farms in Kane County and how important they are. They're going to get hit pretty hard. The manufacturing industries are not able to keep the mode of production that they once had because they're not going to be able to get the products. This is going to be a press down from the top that is going to hurt everybody. And when that happens, where are you going to get your money? It's through your taxes. It's probably going to be from property tax revenue. It's foreseeable, and it's very important we talk about that. So I thank you so much. I was going to go on a tirade of other things. Like, I don't like the slot machines signs everywhere because that's an urban blight on the area. We need to talk about that and pull that back. But again, I initially wanted to talk about getting on your board. I'm not sure that I am capable based off of my disability anyway because of my lack of mobility. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Our next speaker is Dan Spellman.
Good morning. My name is Dan Spellman. First, I'd like to take a moment to thank the board for your efforts over the past few months to help educate the citizens of the county about the sales tax referendum. I know many of you dedicated personal time and energy to raise awareness across the community, and the commitment does not go unnoticed. Asking a community to support a sales tax increase is never easy, especially in times of economic uncertainty. In recent months, we've seen headlines about major reductions in federal spending and looming questions around programs like Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Since the April 1st election, markets have declined sharply. 401k balances are down, and economists are openly discussing the growing risk of recession. In this environment, getting a sales tax increase passed is, understandably, an uphill battle. But today, I'd like to focus on where we go from here. Last month was my first time attending a county board meeting, and while I appreciated hearing the range of opinions, including thoughtful, well-articulated comments from those who supported and from those that opposed the tax, I was disappointed, though not surprised, by the tone of some of the public comments. The personal attacks and sarcastic remarks are not just unproductive, quite frankly, they're immature. About 2 months ago, I attended a forum in Kane County that brought together Republicans, Democrats, and independents. One of the speakers introduced the concept of team normal. It's a group made up of people across the political spectrum who believe in respectful, businesslike, solution-focused dialogue. Not to come to a perfect solution, because in a county of nearly 500,000 people, we'll never agree on what a perfect solution is, but rather to find a better solution, and better is always possible. I believe most citizens in Kane County are proud members, whether they know it or not, of Team Normal. And I want to encourage the board to not confuse the loud and disrespectful voices with that of the will of the majority. The behavior displayed by a few during each month's public comment section does not represent who we are as a county. Please continue to bring your differing viewpoints and perspectives to the table. That's how better solutions are made, through thoughtful, mature, and respectful debate. Whether you're conservative or a liberal or somewhere in between, there's room for you on Team Normal. Thank you for being faithful members of the team. And remember that most of your neighbors and most of your constituents are on the team as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Antoinette Nicholas. Is Antoinette here? There she is.
Good morning to all. My name is Tony Nicholas, and I was one of the District 303 St. Charles School Board candidates. I began the journey of running because of the comments that I was hearing from people such as parents, grandparents, and educators who were concerned about the current school environment and the direction that it was taking, not just in this district, but throughout the county. Therefore, it was both an honor and an anticipation to be able to speak for the parents, the students, and teachers regarding the concerns of low proficiency rates, student safety, and certain subjects being presented to the children. It was my hope to be able to help my school community by being a voice for those who were unheard. Instead, the experience was filled with personal attacks, bullying, lies, and false accusations by the teachers' unions, by the media, and by certain members who are connected to the school board. They used their given powers to make false statements about my qualifications, and they used their social media to disparage my name and my reputation. Instead of viewing different endorsements as part of a healthy debate, we were targeted through comical, and I mean comical, Facebook postings with less than stellar acting abilities. We were attacked as fringe, as extremists with radical views and fear-based messaging, all because I dare to mention the name of Jesus Christ in anything. Teachers spoke of their workplace mailboxes were being flooded with flyers telling them who to vote for and who not to vote for. As far as I thought, That was not allowed, and I consider that election interference. The flyer with our candidates' names was a grateful endorsement by fellow taxpayers, assorted educators, as well as parent groups and grassroots groups for change. My time, my effort, and my money were spent trying to make a difference in our school community by making the children the focus. But what did I find most interesting? Instead of focusing on the profound problems of low proficiency rates, curriculum agenda, and student safety, all the opposing parties wanted to do was zero in and attack on anything but those subjects. The parents have been awakened. The sleeping giant has been awakened. We now know what to watch for. We now know what to look for. And any attacks that come upon us, we take that because we know that what we're doing is for the children. Thank you very much.
That is always this. Yeah, hold on. I'm just gonna- Brian Anderson.
Good morning, Brian Anderson, Sugar Grove, Illinois. Before we get started on what I wanted to talk about, I needed to bring this up because Mavis Braitz brought it up. I would encourage the board to review, reevaluate the 2040 agenda. In that, it's a fascinating document. We should be at around 802,000 residents by 2040. That's not even close. We need to pick up 290,000 residents. That's not happening. The state of Illinois is on the decline. Illinois has the highest taxes, economic concerns, and crime in urban areas right now, and this is as of today. It's the third largest exodus state in the nation. So I would just encourage you to reevaluate that 2040 plan. It's 13 years old. It was implemented in 2012, and a lot of your policy has everything to do with what's in that 2040 plan. So Kane County is shrinking, it's not growing. So why am I here today? Just an update for all the board members. Each one of you have a massive responsibility that represents the 24 different districts in Kane County, and that is to be fiscally responsible. On April 1st, there was an election, and I've got the most up-to-date as of April 4th with the mail-in ballots coming in. It was almost 54,000. 54,000 of the citizens in Kane County said absolutely no. We had a modest 17,991 say yes. So that margin was almost 36,000 constituents that said a resounding no. What that means is it's time to do what you were elected to do. And just like in the business world, if you're on the senior team, it's to where are we making strides? Where do we need to make cuts? Now, what I found was interesting is most of us in the room may or may not know there's 292 different precincts in Kane County. So I just wanted to do a quick review. Aurora 14, board member Gums, 17 people voted yes, 83 said no. Mavis Bates, 94 of her constituents, yes, 223 no. Vern Tepe, where he lives, 81 people said, yeah, I'd like it. A resounding 291 of his constituents, absolutely no. Linda Robertson, who is a very, very close friend of Corrine Pirogue, who is one of the co-leaders of WeCanChange.org that was responsible for the 6,000 people protesting this past weekend. Even she got 82 constituents to say yes, and a resounding 309 of her constituents said no. What's my point? People don't want it. It's time to go to work and make the cuts that are necessary.
Thank you. And I would like, although not to address anybody specifically, personal relationships have no place in this This is a professional organization. Family members, children, pets, etc., and friends have no place here. These are volunteers who may be working. They may be people that we know cordially go to church with. So I would ask all of us to refrain from using that as a token of just spite, perhaps is the right word.
Is that in the, King County?
I think that's,
statutes?
sir, I think just courtesy. It's just courtesy.
No,
It's
it's not.
courtesy. They're not elected officials.
Good. Then they
So
do whatever he
then,
wants.
and so the next speaker right now is Bob McQuillan. Welcome, Bob.
Hi. That's a tough one to follow. Good morning. It's been quite a while since I've spoken at a meeting and several new faces, so welcome. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak. So what do you do now? I believe in offering solutions. Complaining accomplishes nothing. I have a simple solution. Go to the local state representatives and demand that the Safety Act be repealed. This unfunded mandate must be stopped and the state put on notice that no future unfunded mandates will be accepted. I'm not going to rehash why a failed but referendum, but bottom line, the board knew several years ago this financial crisis was going to hit the county. The state's attorney and sheriff stood in this very room and strongly supported the Safety Act, even saying they wanted Kane County to be the first in the state to implement it and be a model for the rest of the state. How'd that work out for all of us? The board did nothing to address the financial doom they knew was coming. This act didn't improve public safety, and it will never will, because it creates only administrative jobs, not jobs on the street. Don't worry if you're thrown in jail, because there's no cash bail, and you'll be released immediately. Thank you.
The next speaker is Jeremy Johnson.
Actually, it's Jerome Johnson,
Oh,
but
I'm
that's all
sorry.
right.
Again, my,
So
I don't have my
glad
readers
to
on.
be here. That's okay. So glad to be here today. I'm speaking in regards to the fact that what was my grandmother's hobby farmstead that they acquired in 1922 and has remained relatively intact. It's where I live today. Put forward a nomination to be considered for historic designation because of its in part because of simplicity and because of the role, the transformation that occurred between going from horse and buggy to the transportation era. But that's all in the nomination. So first of all, I wanted to be here since it was pulled out of the consensus or consensual, whatever the group approval, as a separate, to be considered separately. I wanted to be here to answer any questions. It's also a privilege to be here from the standpoint that I was on the study commission in the 1980s that put together the proposal to the county board that they be the first to use the state enabling legislation to establish a historic preservation ordinance for the unincorporated areas of Kane County. That meant a lot to me because my mother was a founder of Restorations of Kane County, which became Preservation Partners later, but was responsible for restoring the Durant House. It's in Leroy Oaks Forest Preserve. And then, of course, she went on to found Garfield Farm Museum, which I've been involved in on a daily basis since 1981 in saving and preserving that. And we certainly appreciate the help that the Kane County Riverboat Fund has given in some of our land acquisition and projects there, but owe a lot of it to the incredible number of volunteers and donors who have supported the project through those many years. So with that, I'm here and available if there's any questions when the resolution comes forward. And again, thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you. Okay. All right, we have several board members who have signed up to speak as well. So Mr. Young, why don't you, you're next, please? And if you can come up to the podium, thank you, sir.
David Young, here to talk about DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. Just of the past 2 weeks, these are the things that have been discovered as wasteful spending programs. Number one, an online national park survey cost $1 billion. The outcome from the survey, no changes needed. It should have cost $10,000. Number two, Social Security. DOGE found over 15 million Social Security numbers that are over 120 years old. And by the way, the oldest living American is 114 years old. Number three, federal employee credit cards. Over 4.6 million credit cards are out there now, and we only have 2.3 million federal employees. The IRS has 1,400 people whose entire job is to supply new IRS hires with a company laptop and a phone. If these employees were to supply just two IRS employees per day, they could resupply the entire IRS with brand new phones and laptops every month. Five, the federal government had on its books $300 million in small business loans to people under the age of 11 and more than $300 million to people older than 120. Six, $10 million for gender equity in the Mexican workplace. Seven, $12.2 million was for worker empowerment in South America. 6.25 million was for improving respect for workers' rights in agricultural supply chains in Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador. 4.3 million for assisting foreign migrant workers in Malaysia. So I bring this up because where can we save money in Kane County? Well, let's start with building management. Just last month, they were going to use $450,000 to fund 3 more hires, but that got voted down. So this $450,000 is in Fund 125 that was initially allocated for fiber optic cable, a project that building management says they don't need anymore. So there's $450,000. And what about the $1 million engineering fee that I opposed last year? It was an existing HVAC system, and the contractor was approved $1 million. $1 million for an existing engineering, just the engineering alone for the HVAC system for the jail. These are 2 examples. That's just 1.5 million right there that I found. I think we can find a lot more as we look and dig deeper into the Kane County government. Thank you.
Mr. Iqbal?
Madam Chair, thank you. My name is Mao Iqbal. I represent District 19. It will be very short. We had 5 proclamations today, but we missed one that is very close to me. That is called the International Day to be kind to the lawyers.
Why don't we have our lawyers stand up? Here we go.
Yeah, okay.
The state's attorney is still looking at it, approving that one.
Williams.
Why? Mr. Iqbal, I already hugged you once today.
I don't want to say anything more. This profession is very vital for us as a society, as a civilization, and we thank them. and all we need is smiles. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Redcall. Oh, you had your 30 seconds. Again, kind. All right, thank you, Mr. Redcall. That was delightful. All right, we will be kind to everybody, no matter your profession, but particularly to our lawyers right now. All right, Miss Bates, go get them.
Mavis Bates, 60 South Harrison, Aurora, Illinois. Private citizen as I stand at this podium. The Kane County Public Services Sales Tax referendum went down badly, 75 to 25%. The movement for the referendum was led by a small group of volunteers, including many members from the Kane County Board. After months of struggling with our budget and looking at our reserves being eaten up to the tune of $29 million for this year alone, we felt we had to find new sources of revenue. The retailer's occupational sales tax was one alternative to raising property taxes. We felt that a sales tax would be more fair to our taxpayers. It did not include food, medicines, or vehicles, some of the most basic needs for our families. It would have been paid for partly by visitors to Kane County, such as those coming to shop at the Premium Outlet Mall, our biggest sales tax generator. Kane County's duties have expanded over the last few years, especially in the area of public safety and judicial. Employees' salaries have gone up as we have tried to keep up with other surrounding counties who sometimes pay almost twice as much as we do for attorneys and accountants, etc. With a very lean budget over the last decade, there is little waste in Kane County to cut. Maybe the referendum failed because people don't understand the many services that we provide and how it will hurt all of us if they have to be cut. On the other hand, some people think of any taxation as a form of theft but we all know that being part of a community and using the services of that community means sharing in the support of those services. The tax haters came out loud and strong. This referendum was not about stealing money from our taxpayers. It was about maintaining public safety and public service. I think another reason for the failure of the public sales tax referendum is a sense of an impending economic crisis in our country and the world. The uncertainty this has created forced many of the government believers in our county to vote no. Not even the $100 to $200 price tag per year per family seemed overwhelming. When you're already struggling, even a small increase is too much. We had no funds with which to do preliminary polling to find out if Kane County was ready to support this referendum. Well, now we know. Many programs and jobs will probably have to be cut in order to balance our budget next year. These cuts may affect our quality of life. There are many hard decisions yet to be made.
Is that it?
Yes, I'm waiting for my buzzer to go off.
Thank you. All right, we have last speaker is Michelle Gumps.
Good morning. My name is Michelle Gums. I'm a proud resident of Kane County and a retired government worker from the Aurora Police Department. I spent 20 years serving the public and advocating for workers who keep our community safe and functioning. Today, I speak with a heavy heart. I am deeply saddened that us, the Kane County voters in this moment, did not see the value in the dedicated employees who are underpaid and underappreciated. These are the people who protect our neighborhoods, care for our most vulnerable, and respond to emergencies not for praise, but because they believe in service. And that includes the professionals in our judicial arm, our court clerks, probation officers, public defenders, and countless others who work behind the scenes to uphold justice every day. Over the last several years, the county board has approved budgets with nearly unanimous support, voting with nearly unanimous support. Voting no on the most recent budget does not erase the yes votes on the budgets that came before it. It is important that not just board members, but the public at large understand that the responsibility of this challenging financial moment does not fall on Democrats alone. Each time a vote is cast to approve expenditures, you all carry that responsibility. But don't feel bad for investing in this county. Every inch of Kane County is worth it. What we must do is invest in everything except, what we must not do is invest in everything except the people who make it work. Our employees are the engine that drive our services. Ignoring their value is a continued disservice to every taxpayer who depends on those services. And don't believe anyone who tells you that this is the fault of one party over another, because that's a lie. Whoever spreads that information knows it's a lie, and shame on them for printing it. Full stop. Let's be honest, costs rise over time. That's not politics, it's economics. Refusing to acknowledge that reality by rejecting any increase in revenue has backed us into a financial corner. This is not news. Financial responsibility isn't about saying no to everything. It's about balancing investment with sustainability. And it's about valuing the people who do the work every single day. As a former union representative in Aurora, I fought hard for fair pay, safe work, and decent conditions. Not because it was easy, but because it was right. I know what it means to stand up for workers who often don't have a voice in the room. So today I offer a plea to all of my colleagues on this board. If cuts must be made in the next budget, be specific. Tell us exactly where. But please do not balance this budget on the backs of the very people who make this county run. Show us where you would cut that doesn't hurt our workers, our safety, and our future. And your no vote in this past budget does not exonerate you from all of your yes votes in prior years. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude our public comment. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone who's come up today to speak, to give your time and your thoughts about Kane County and how we move forward and how we commend the hard work that has already been accomplished. So let's move on to our consent agenda. Would anybody like to remove an item from this consent agenda? Left, see none. To the right, see none. Anybody online? None? All righty. May I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda?
Move.
Sorry, who? Bates, Caius. Okay, Caius moves, Bates. Yes. With that, no discussion is needed. Clerk, call the roll.
Ellen,
Aye.
Arroyo. Bates,
Bates, yes.
Doherty,
Doherty, aye.
Garcia. Right,
Yes.
Gums,
Comes yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
QBI.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Linder,
Yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Hennessis,
Genesis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Surges,
Yes.
Tarver,
Carver, yes.
Tepe,
Except yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Young. That passes.
Okay, very good. I see no need for executive session. So now I'll be turning this over to Mr. Williams, who will be leading us through our zoning petitions. Ready, sir?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first matter for your consideration is matter number TMP 25-332, petition number 4656. The petitioner is J.W. McConaughey Properties LLC. It's for a property located at 33 West 624 Suite B, Route 38 in Geneva Township. The proposed relief is rezoning from the B3 zoning district to B4 to allow for the sale and consumption of alcohol in this unit. The 2040 plan designates this area as commerce employment. There were numerous objectors to this proposed development. The zoning board of appeals recommended denial. The development committee recommended denial. I believe there may be a representative from the petitioner, Chris Asen, if he would like to address the board. This is your opportunity, sir.
Good morning, Chris Hastings, 714 James Street in Geneva, Illinois. I'm here with the petitioner. Actually, the petitioner is listed as J.W. McConaughey. He is the property owner. The applicant is Kyle Lazar, who represents Cafe Parlay, which is the business that is seeking rezoning from B3 to B4 to allow for alcohol consumption on site. It's a prerequisite to have alcohol license in order to run video gaming. That is the business's principal activity, video gaming. And Mr. Lazar owns and runs operations in the state of Illinois, specifically one in Pingree Grove that has proven successful. We feel if you believe in supply and demand, that the petitioner is willing to invest money at the subject property to establish his business, a business that we estimate will generate $25,000 a year in annual fees to the county. And that's been shown to be the case specifically at his location in Pingree Grove. As this is unincorporated, the recipient local government would be Kane County. We're here to answer any questions. It's not an awful lot of money, but considering what we just talked about, I think any amount of money would be helpful. Again, petitioner successfully operates this business elsewhere. The zoning is only from B3 to B4, and specifically it's because the owner wants to run a video gaming operation, and in order to do that in the state of Illinois, you first need a liquor license, and B4 is requisite to get a liquor license in Kane County. It's only 850 square feet, and it's an existing multi-tenant commercial building. So with that said, again, we're both here to answer any questions.
For the benefit of the board, I would note that the objectors were the students of the adjacent martial arts studio, and then the gentleman who owns Route 38 Motor Cars at the northeast corner of 38 in Kirk. We'd entertain a motion to approve.
Gums will move.
Second.
This is Ms. Juby's district, by the way.
Okay, I'll take that back.
Yes. So, I heard, local citizens who maybe did not put forth, formal objections that were, sympathetic to a new business wanting to come in, but are very concerned about the location of this. One of the main concerns I heard was there was a family, martial arts center that operates there, and that they have a hard enough time getting parking in there. And although this new business would be introducing parking spaces, their hours are earlier than the martial arts, and they felt that their clients wouldn't be able to find parking. They're also concerned about alcohol on the premises. They prop their back door open when it's warm out in the summertime, and they're concerned about things that may or may not be happening in the lot behind the building. I can honestly say, in as long as I have been on the board, I'm going on my third year, I have never had as many people call me up and ask me to vote no on a zoning request. So for those of you who defer to the person whose district it's in, I ask that you also vote no against this to support the constituents of District 11.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chuby. Any other comments? Yes, sir.
How many parking spaces, Board Member Williams, are they adding? Leslie mentioned.
I couldn't answer that offhand. I think Mr. Aston can address that for you.
Yes, sir. We're adding 9 additional spaces. The ordinance only requires 4 additional spaces. So actually, we'll have surplus parking with respect to the multiple uses that are in this building now.
Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Bates, and then.
Do
Ms.
they
Ellis.
own this building? Are they owners?
No, this is owned by Mr. McConaughey, their proposed tenant. They're under a lease. Well, there's a lease in negotiation at this point.
Okay, very good. Ms. Gums?
I just would like to, I appreciate there are objectors to this. However, I'm very familiar with a martial arts facility and a liquor store right next door to it. I have never had a problem in my district with that. I can respect the difference of opinion, but I will be supporting this.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Sturgis. Madam Chair, I'm not sure if I'm directing this to Leslie or Rick. I was reached out onto this because Mr. Lazar and I have been doing business together casually in a public official petitioner relationship all the way back to my years as a trustee in Gilbert's. His place in Pingree Grove is right down the road from us, so I'm aware of the Lazar family, who have always been nothing but receptive and wonderful. And per usual, I think I've told everybody on all 4 petitions today saying this is in your district. Are you in support or not? As I typically will vote with the person with the board member whose district the petitioner is within. In this particular case, I typically ask, is the community, has the community weighed in on this? In this case, is it Geneva? And are they in favor or opposed to this at this point?
I can answer that question.
Of course.
Both the city of Geneva and the city of Batavia have, through their development department, objected. It's not a formal objection, though, that went through the normal course in which the city councils objected. Had that happened, it would require a 2/3 vote of this body to approve the request. So I would say that one individual from both Geneva and one individual from Batavia sent an email sort of objecting. I would also note that this is within the 1.5 mile planning jurisdiction of the city of Geneva. It is not within 1.5 miles of the city of Batavia's planning jurisdiction. So not really sure why they chimed in on it, but that's the answer to your question.
And Rick, if I still have the floor and I can just, as a follow-up to that, sometimes when these things come forward, it's a hard no. Sometimes it's a soft no, saying you're just missing a couple of things that we can tweak. Can you fill in the flavor on that? Is Geneva and Ms. Juby, are you saying this is a fundamental philosophical no? Or is it well, if we had 3 more parking spots, we can get there?
Well, I can tell you as it relates to the Geneva letter, it was sort of soft, but generally said that if this property were to come into the city of Geneva, video gaming would not be allowed because the city of Geneva does not allow video gaming within its corporate boundaries. That's
Interesting. Didn't know that.
However, there are no indications that this property is or will ever be annexed to the city of Geneva. So it was simply Mr. DeGroot from the city of Geneva pointing that out.
Thank you.
Mr. Caius.
Sure. And this was denied by the zoning board. Do you have more flavor for what?
So I believe the vote was 3 no, 2 yes, and I abstained. And the reason that I abstained from the vote is I have represented Mr. McConaughey. I have represented one of the objectors. I did not feel it was appropriate for me to cast a vote in this manner.
Did they mention anything that we haven't mentioned here as far as pro or con arguments that we're missing? Because I don't see them listed.
No, I mean, the concerns were parking and having a bar gambling facility next to a martial arts studio where younger children come occasionally.
All right, Mr. Iqbal.
Yeah, Madam Chair, the petitioner said Pingree Grove. That's not correct. I think it's the city of Geneva or unincorporated area in the city of Geneva. It's by the Kirk Road, and I visited the site. I will be voting yes. I did not see any neighborhood being impacted by this business. So, and they are asking for liquor license. The liquor license is needed for video gaming. It's not part of video gaming, but the state requires it, and that's they are under. So I will be voting yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, the last question then.
This is just south of my district, so I'm very familiar with the area. It is commercial. During, the the prime when the martial art is working, the parking lot's full. So adding 9 isn't going to help really. And also it lets out onto Roosevelt with no light. And during rush hour, that's extremely hard to get across. So if you're adding more mixing alcohol, I would be concerned. I would welcome any other commercial, but I don't think right next to a martial art that it should be. And it's only at 800 feet. There are other locations out a little bit further east that they could more than fit in and it would be acceptable, I believe. So I'm voting no for that.
Okay, so I think we're ready to call the vote. Mr. Williams, you feel?
That, I think we've covered the topics. We're ready to call the.
Okay.
We haven't made a motion or a second. have
Oh,
we?
there was a motion.
And then
We're in
the second was
discussion.
already
Okay.
moved.
Okay.
All right, with that, please call the roll.
Ellen,
Alan, no.
Arroyo. Yes. Bates,
Bates, yes.
Doherty,
Right now.
Garcia,
Garcia, no.
Gripe,
Right, no.
Gums,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Juby,
You know,
Caius,
Yes, no.
Leonard,
Leonard, no.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
I do know.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Penesis,
Genesis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, no.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman, Surgis,
Or just no.
Tarver,
Tarver, no.
I'm sorry,
No.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Williams,
Abstain.
and then Young.
Yes.
It's a tie.
It is a tie. Here. I vote yes.
And it passes.
Next, Mr. Williams.
Here. The next matter for your consideration is TMP 25 333. Petition number 4658. The petitioner is Landberg Properties. The property is located at 1N326 and 1N336 LaFox Road, Blackberry Township. Incidentally, this is my district. The proposed relief is rezoning from the B3 district and R1 district family residence to PUD, a plan unit development to bring the existing 3 residential dwelling units into conformance with the Kane County zoning ordinance and allow for a future dwelling unit above the garage. The 2040 plan designates this property as rural residential. There are no objectors. The zoning board of appeals recommended approval, as did the development committee. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Linear moves to approve.
Roth will second.
Any questions on this? Seeing none, I think we're ready to call the roll.
Okay, Ellen,
Alan, I.
Arroyo, Bates,
Bates, yes.
Doherty,
Already aye.
Garcia,
Garcia, I.
Gripe,
Right, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Juby,
okay.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Linear, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Penesis,
Genesis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Surgis, Tarver,
Yes.
Tepe,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Yeses.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next item for your consideration is TMP 25 376. Petition number 4657. The petitioner is Christopher Haas on behalf of Chestnut Skies LLC. The property is located at 8N852 Burlington Road, Hampshire, Illinois, also my district. The proposed use is a special use in the F farming zoning district to allow for a public stable. The 2040 plan designates this property as agriculture. There are no objectors to this project. The zoning board of appeals recommended approval with staff stipulations, the typical staff stipulations that are in your report. And then the development committee also recommended approval. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Leonard will move.
Thank you.
Linder,
Mr. Lin-
second.
Thank you, Mr. Linder. Is there any discussion on this? I see. Yes, Mr. Young.
Another horse farm. It's a new horse farm then. But they're adding.
Point of
Oh,
order.
excuse me, hold on, please, not
Hold
going
your-
back and forth.
Hold your horses.
That was planned. That was planned. Oh, we have a question. It was once a horse farm, Ms. Chuby.
Yes, it was.
Respond to
Fox
that, please.
Landing, and now it's going to be a saddle barn, so it's maintaining its status, and they're trying to get caught up to the things that should have been done to the property before.
Okay, so it's going to be maintained an equestrian.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's.
I had a feeling that she would know
Of
about
course,
this.
of course, of course.
Yes.
Yes. All right, any other comments on this? Okay, all right, very good. Clerk, call the roll.
Sure. Ellen,
Ellen, I.
Arroyo,
Oh, yes.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Doherty,
Oh, yes.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Ripe,
Right, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Chuby.
Yeah.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Melina,
Lena, yes.
Penisys,
Genesis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Surgis, Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Tepe,
Tempe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young.
Yes.
That passes.
Okay, very good. Next one.
The next item on your agenda is actually a mistake. This should not have made our agenda. It was for a minor variance to a special use permit. The final decision-making of determination authority is the development committee. It was approved at development, so we don't need to take any action on this.
Okay, very good. So-
Petition 4517 for the record.
Correct. That is correct.
4517.
So how do we remove this off the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody want to move this? See none, so it's off.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Well, we are very kind to our attorney.
Yeah.
Old situation, I'll tell you that firsthand knowledge.
Just today. Only today.
All righty. So now we are off consent. May I have a motion and a second to discuss, possibly pass item number 25-143?
Bates moves.
Thank you, Ms. Bates.
Gums will second.
Thank you, Ms. Gums.
Madam Chair, Gums,
Yes, ma'am.
I am ready to vote on this. I've asked and answered my own questions.
All right. Is there any other comments on this item? I see none. Yes. Clerk, call the roll.
This is for ordinance 25143. Ellen,
Ellen, I.
Arroyo,
Oh, yes.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Doherty,
Doherty, I.
Garcia,
Garcia, I.
Ripe,
Right, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Chuby,
Yeah.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Melina,
Melina, yes.
Penisys,
Genesis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Surgis, Tarver,
Yes.
Tepe,
Tempe, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Passes.
Wonderful. That's a very nice vote. Congratulations. Happy about that one. Okay, may I have a motion a second to discuss item number 25-106?
Right moves.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Leonard will second.
And this is now the second reading, so I'll turn this over to. do we need to
Yes, 106.
Go through this one more time to read it, or can we just pass it through? All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this ordinance?
Surgis, could you describe what the second reading means?
I will turn that over to our Chief of Civil.
So second reading, just literally what it stands for is this is the second time it's come before the county board. It allows for more time to the county board to consider it as well as people. to become
Actionable
involved.
now.
It is actionable only because it's the second time coming to the board.
Okay, And if the vote is in favor of this, it will become an ordinance.
Mhm.
Okay, everybody understand? Okay, if there's no further discussion, clerk call the roll.
Ellen,
Ellen, I.
Arroyo. Sure. Okay. Bates,
Bates, yes.
Doherty,
Doherty, aye.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Ripe,
Right, yes.
Gums,
yes.
Iqbal,
No.
Juby, Caius,
Caius, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Penesis,
Genesis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Surges,
Yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Pepe,
Happy, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Young. Passes, 1 nay.
Okay, good. May I have a motion, a second on item number 25-144?
Leonard will move.
Thank you, sir. Second, please.
Caius, second.
Thank you, Mr. Caius. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Ellen,
Ellen, I.
Arroyo, Bates,
Bates, yes.
Doherty,
Doherty, aye.
Garcia,
Garcia, aye.
Ripe,
Right, yes.
Gums,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Juby,
Yeah.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Lena,
Abstain.
okay. Penesis,
Genesis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman. Surges,
Yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Tepe. I'm sorry. Speak up.
Yes.
Thanks. Williams,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
That passes.
And Strathman's vote was yes?
Yes.
Yes, okay, very good. Did not hear you. Okay, very good. Passes. All righty. May I have a motion and a second to discuss and possibly pass item number 25-145?
Roth will make the motion.
Genesis, second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this?
Just as kind of done in the past, the kind of the speculated difference between the value is currently about $1,200 on these. So just remember, as we are passing these things along with the ongoing litigation, that is something the board needs to consider as possibly having to come up with the money at a later date. So this is a relatively minor one, and we'll go from there.
Emergency purchase. Just forget everything that was just said.
Forget about it.
Never mind.
Jeanette, we're being nice to you today.
We'll still be nice to you, Mr. Frank.
All right, he's got a little red on his face. He's fine. All right, this is about the interim Director for Workforce Development. Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, if we can just have some background on how this agency or this person was kind of chosen. It looks like it's keeping it under the $50,000 value. So does that mean there wasn't an RFP or any, I guess just if you can just walk us through how this was chosen and how the amount was chosen, and if we have to go over the 50,000 because it's a contract, how we would go about doing that.
Okay, very excellent question. Is Ms. Labrillo in the room? There she is. And that.
Hello, Jamie Labrillo, Director of Human Resources. In response to your question, he is contracted through temporary agency that works a lot with IMRF pensioners and things like that because it's an opportunity for them to continue to work on a temporary basis as needed. So he is a professional from the city of Wheaton. He was the assistant city manager in Wheaton and an HR director there. So he has a lot of relevant skill set in this. In regards to the emergency purchase affidavit, we needed to move quickly under the circumstances we are in, and that department really needs some assistance, management assistance. So the emergency purchase affidavit was necessary because it does support continued operations that are critical and would be a serious deficit if we didn't have them. So for that is why it was not done through an RFP, because we did not have time for that process. We had some very immediate needs for some management over in workforce development, given the vacancy in that director role.
Okay, is there any other questions on this? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Jamie, with respect to this, I'm in full support of it. I'm just wondering, since the former director is leaving and we're saving that salary, don't they have the money in their budget to handle this interim director?
Yes, there's no budget adjustment being requested with this, and it will be paid for the grant funds and workforce development.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Greif.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Jamie, just curious, but if this goes on and is positive, the results and the performance and all that, are we at liberty to extend a formal ongoing offer?
I don't believe that that's his intention or the intention of the county. This is just an interim position to help get that department back on track and rolling the way it should, so that when we do hire a new permanent director, it is a situation where they'd be set up to succeed.
Okay, thank you.
That is correct. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I just wanted to note, Scribner's error. In the one paragraph, it says that the agency's from Tampa, Florida. And in the last paragraph, it says Tampa, Illinois. So if that could just get corrected. In Illinois, maybe. I don't know.
All right. Mr. Duguay is here. Do you want to have him come up, please, to introduce himself to the board?
Certainly.
Don't we have to vote? Did we vote?
You need to make a motion.
I thought we had a motion in a second.
No,
Yeah, we
she
got-
needs to make a motion to amend.
We do have the
She
motion.
needs,
Scribner's error?
let's make a quick motion and there can be a voice vote.
To adjust the Scribner's error, Florida and Illinois.
Scribner's
it
error exactly,
comes-
please.
Second to the last paragraph, it says Tampa, Florida. So the last paragraph, it says Tampa, Illinois.
Oh, okay, okay,
And I'm assuming it's Florida.
And I'll second.
Or a
that.
very big city.
okay. All right. Everybody in favor of this?
Aye.
Okay. Welcome, John.
Morning, everyone. My name is John Duguay, and I'm very happy to be here. I'm coming in this week with kind of a student's mindset to learn and to determine and understand what's going on in workforce development. I met with the group of staff as a group last week on Thursday, and this week my intent is to meet with everyone individually just to get a little better feel for where we are and to understand, what's going well, what needs to be tweaked a little bit, what needs to be changed, corrected, fixed, so that we can meet the benchmarks. Our close-in target obviously is this April 30th date where I'll be coordinating and responding back to Springfield with a corrective action plan to meet those benchmarks. And it's obviously very important because, with these funds, there's a lot of people, these are great programs. A lot of people, if it goes away, will not have access to it. So we want to make sure that that's taken care of so that the programs, the employment services are there for people who need it when they need it. So I'm looking forward to starting. I'm jumping in today. Looks like I'll be working about 3 days a week. And subject to your questions, that's all I have.
Could you just give us or have the board a little bit about your background, about your work experience?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm originally from the great state of Maine. I went to West Point, so I was on active duty in the Army for several years. I transitioned into the Army Reserve and I retired with 30 years as a colonel. In the middle there, I went into the private sector after Desert Storm and with different positions, but generally human resources type positions, culminating at the city with the director of HR, then also as the assistant city manager. So I retired last summer and been enjoying retirement, but I got a call and I thought, this seems like something that I'd be good at, that I'd be able to do. And so I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, we have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion on this, clerk, call the roll.
Ellen,
Ellen, aye.
Arroyo, Bates,
Bates, yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Ripe,
Ripe, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Zuby,
Aye.
Caius,
Nice, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Linder,
Yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Genesis,
Genesis, yes.
Roth,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Surges,
Yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Tepe,
yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young.
Yes.
It
Very
passes.
good. All right, get back to work. Thank you. All right, you may have a motion and a second to discuss item number 25-146.
Comes,
Roth will second.
Mr. Roth. Discussion.
Madam
Yes.
Chair, Gums.
Okay, hold on. I saw Ms. Juby's hand up first.
I just don't understand why this didn't move through the committee structure. We didn't see it in judicial and we didn't see it in executive, and I'm just curious why.
That's an excellent question. Please, Michelle.
Good morning. Michelle Guthrie, Director of Kane. I would have liked to move this through the committee process. However, due to the urgency and the way we were receiving some updated information on our staffing, that is not why it moved through. That's why it did not move through the committee process. And we went forward with an emergency purchase order. We were just made aware this past week about an employee that is leaving. We were also made aware this last week that we have an employee that's going out on FMLA. Due to the critical nature, essential functions of our office, we needed to find a solution quickly. Training a new telecommunicator takes about 6 to 9 months. I'm fearful of the news of the departure of a telecommunicator and another on leave, that our current staff is very aware of the mandated excessive overtime hours that are coming. And our management team worked quickly to find a solution that is actually relatively new and we didn't really know existed. I think I had talked at the Human Services Committee meeting on Monday about how there's really no backup plan for 911 when there's short staffing. And while I was here in that meeting, my management team was researching options and we came upon this, which is great. We can get quickly, hopefully set up within a month, 2 certified 911 telecommunicators who can fill in for a period of 9 months while we continue hiring and staffing, and without, hopefully losing anybody else because of the excessive work hours.
May I ask a
What, a
follow-up?
follow-up?
And how is this being paid for? Is this through the general fund or is it being paid through through fees or whatever that you get?
Correct. KaneCom is a special revenue agency and our budget is from our 911 surcharge fees that we receive. And then also the remaining balance is by the percentage of service from all of our subscribing agencies. So this is not, I'm not asking for a budget adjustment because of the vacancies. This exists within our budget. We do have people working 12 and 16-hour shifts repeatedly. This will reduce some of that overtime. I don't have any concerns about budget. We do have a new employee. I would like to note that we do have a new employee starting mid-April. We will be training them. We completed interviews last week, but that's the long-term plan. And I'm extremely concerned about the short-term plan because I want to make sure part of recognizing and taking care of our employees is making sure that we have staffing.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Ms. Combs.
Thank you. Ms. Guthrie, it's odd being on a different side of the table here. Boy, I had a few questions or concerns that appear to have been answered satisfactorily as it pertains to the CBA. That is accurate, correct?
Correct. I did talk with our attorneys and CBA or union approval is not needed in this situation. However,
you don't have to expend anymore. It was a concern of mine. I wanted to make sure that they were notified. We'll just
they were
leave it there.
absolutely notified. The conversations with the attorneys happened first. That was number 1.
Very good. Okay. And then I'll just follow up with this. I won't go any further on that part of it. I'll just basically reiterate, our officers everybody is at the mercy of how tired or awake a dispatcher is. And 16-hour shifts, if I could make it happen today, I would eliminate them and make them illegal. But I can't, I don't have that power. Well, maybe I do. Anyways, so I guess I will look forward to seeing how this solution plays out. And note that there may be other options going forward as well that I would love to sit down with you and discuss. But I will support this.
Thank you, Ms. Gomes. Mr. Gripe and then Mr. Gripe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, appreciate all you do and how you're baling wire and chewing gum and all that good stuff. But a question, it sounds like there's two people coming into play, two new people, right? How much overlap do you think will be necessary between the overtime Ms. Gums was talking about and the new people and their training before we're permanently to those people and paying just for two?
About a month and a half. So we do have the leave started pretty immediately. And then I believe, I don't have an exact date for the employee that is going to be leaving us and pursuing a different career, not 911, but pursuing a different career. So I believe we just have to kind of get by for about a month and a half. That's why this timeline was so important to me, so I could provide our staff some sort of timeline, like relief is coming. And that's part of the reason for the emergency purchase as well. But I estimate about a month and a half.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Leonard.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, first of all, I wanted to thank you, Michelle, for bringing this to the board. Obviously, you don't need our approval. It was a very nice consideration on your part, but I think it's important too that we realize we don't need to micromanage departments, and you're doing what you think is best. We're very happy with your performance. So thank you for the consideration, but I don't see any necessity for us to even vote on it, but we will to give you confirmation, hopefully.
Thank you.
All right, with nothing else, clerk call the roll.
Ellen,
Ellen, aye.
Arroyo,
Yes.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Doherty,
Doherty, aye.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Gripe,
Yes.
Gums,
Comes, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kubi,
Yeah.
Tyus,
Yes.
Leonard,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Linder,
Yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Genesis, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Surgis,
Burgess, yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Tepe,
Steppy, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
and Young.
Yes.
That passes.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle has a very challenging department that she is managing to the best of her ability, and we certainly appreciate that. And for her creativeness in finding a solution, a temporary solution to really a long-term problem. And the reason I'm bringing this up is I'm going to reflect back on what I was talking about previously, is that we will have to look very creatively on how to find effective, cost-effective solutions to some significant problems that Kane County is facing as well. So we rely on the good stewardship of all of our department heads to do so. So is there any new and unfinished business? Are there committee updates? To my right, to my left? Well, Mr. Leonard, could you lead us since you're all packed up? Motion to adjourn.
I'd like to move that we adjourn.
Thank you.
Roth, a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good day, everybody.